I'm from California originally. I was born here, taken to California when I was about a year old, and came back when I was about 13. And when I got here, believe it or not, I didn't speak a word of Spanish, because I was raised in a white community up in California, and that's all I spoke is English. So when I got here, I didn't know nothing about Mexican music or Tejano music at all. Before I got married, the lady that I was going with at the time, she introduced me to the Tejano music. She took me to this concert at the old Del Rio Ballroom. Took me to this concert, and we're gonna go check out Sonny Osuna and the Sunliners is who we're gonna go see. And to me, that music didn't mean anything. I didn't know anything about it. So the whole night I sat there and I was bored as ever. You know, because this brass sound and Mexican music and speaking Spanish, I didn't know anything about it. Well, needless to say that 2 years after that experience, I started picking up the Mexican music. I started listening more to Tejano music, and 45 years later, here I am. You know, I'm playing it, I'm recording it, I'm singing it. The first year that Love LTD came to be was 1972. Prior to that, I had a little group, and it was called Latin Soul. Latin Soul. The guys that helped me put Latin Soul together was Sergio Puig. It was his name. He was a keyboard. He called me up one day, and he asked me if I wanted to start a little band. And we were playing nothing but, like I said, Dave Clark 5 and stuff like that. Then we did a little bit of cumbias, a little bit of Mexican, but that was the name of, before it became Love LTD. We were Latin Soul. Then we started playing at this ballroom up here on St. Mary's. It was called Nano's Ballroom. We were kind of like the house band there, and Nano, the owner, he kind of like moved his way in. He became manager of Latin Soul. Well, one day we were practicing at the ballroom, and Nano came out of his office and he said, you guys have to change that name. You got to change that name. It's not going to make it. It's not going to make it. I think you should name yourselves Love LTD. Actually, I laughed at him, because by then we were already playing some Tejano music, and we're into the Spanish stuff. I says, how can you give us a name? It sounds like a rock band, Love LTD. He says, well, just to prove you're wrong, Joe, he says, I'm going to take you guys and record a little 45 at the time. I'll record a 45 with you guys, in Spanish. He says, with the name Love LTD. I said, okay, sounds fair. So we went to the studio, recorded a little 45. And on the 45, I think it was Palabra de Rey, and I can't remember the other side. But one of the songs, it took off. It took off about 5 weeks after we recorded. It took off big time. It became #1 hit in California for 10 weeks straight. So I said, okay, we'll stay with Love LTD, with the name Love LTD. It was being talked about all over, Love LTD this and Love LTD. So we went and cut another one after that, and ever since then, it's been Love LTD. And I had the band for about 24 years. That's how long the band was before I kind of retired it for a little bit. And now, as of February, I decided to bring it back on again. Some of the people that, when I first started Love LTD, there's a lot of them that are not around anymore. But one of them that played in our group for quite a while was Johnny Soto. Johnny Soto, and he's here now. He's one around the corner there. He's back playing the saxophone. And one of the guys that actually took off from Tucson and he made it big was Adalberto Gallegos. Well, he started his career playing with Love LTD. I remember the night we were playing at the Casino Ballroom that night, along with it was called the USA Band from San Antonio, and Sonny Osuna was on strike or something, so they formed this USA Band, and we went up and played, And, Albert came out. He was 17 years old at the time. He went up and sang with the Love LTD band. And as soon as he got off the bandstand, the guys came and proposed, you know, they wanted him to go back to San Antonio and sing for them, for the USA band. So I was sitting in my booth. I remember I was sitting in my booth with my wife at the time. The 17-year-old Albert, he came running up to me and said, Joe, what do I do? I said, well, what's wrong, Albert? Those guys just offered me a job to go lead sing for USA band in San Antonio. So what do I do? What I would do, Albert, is I go back home and start packing, man. It says, pack it up and go. Well, what is Love LTD going to do? I said, we'll figure out something. He said, you just go back home and pack your stuff. You get out of here. So that's how he took off.
The USA band.
The USA.
Carl Alfaro.
Yep, exactly. The USA band. And after he did the USA band, he went in and sang for the Fabulosos Cuatro. After the Fabulosos Cuatro, then he got a gig with Latin Breed, and that's where he's at now. And another one that started with me, actually, I took him out of a little rut that he was in. I took him under my wing as my little brother. He was about 14 years old, 15 years old. Is the keyboard player playing with us right now, Ralph Martinez. And I took him under my wing, and I got him out of some troubled times and made him a musician, and he's still doing it. At the time he was playing trumpet for me, and now he's playing keyboard, and he's doing one heck of a job out of it too. He's got his own band. He's got his own band called Relente here in Tucson. But when I offered him this position, you know, with you know, starring in Love LTD, the return of Love LTD again, he didn't hesitate to say yes. You know, that's my compadre Ralph Martinez, you know, and I'm honored to have him in this group. Honored to have him. And then the other one was, of course, is Johnny Soto, the sax player. But he's been around for ages and years, and they're all prime musicians. What's Tejano about? It's a mixture of like what they call rock Tejano. It's got a mixture of everything. It's got a mixture of rock Tejano, norteño Tejano. It just throws in a little bit of every style, and then you add your own feelings into it. It's like norteño with brass. It's like funk. It's like funk with a Tejano feeling. It's right. It's a funkified polka, just like Raul said, man. It's a good sound. It's a good sound, and you can express your feelings so much clearer with Tejano. You know, it's got its own beat. It's got its own sound. I just love it. I just love it. You know, I like all styles of music, but they'll never take the Tejano out of me.
Tejano music and Tex-Mex music is part of the Chicano culture. It's a blend of being Mexican and a blend of being American. You know, so really it's a if you know the dessert called capirotada, our music is like a capirotada. It's a mixture of all different types of music and blending it together to make it a Chicano sound. You know, it's our own. We created it, we developed it, we continue to play it out there. You know, it's showing off and promoting our culture, our beautiful Chicano culture, and it's one of the reasons I love doing what I do. Raul's the one that drove me to bring it back, because he called me, in February? He said, Joe, I got an idea. And I said, what's that? He says, I'm going to try to put this concert together, and with the old Tejano bands, you know, they kept the Tejano music alive back from the Del Rio Bar and all that. And I can't think of any Tejano band that has kept it alive like Love LTD. He says, can you possibly put some guys together and bring back Love LTD for this concert? I said, Raul, man, I retired Love LTD back in '94. He said, but let's see what I can do. So I started subcontracting guys from different bands, and here you have it. We're back with a very, very good sound too. I still have guys that come up to me, you know, guys that have been in bands. They come up to me and say, I remember you. He says, when you used to be up there at the casino ballroom singing away, and I was standing on the side rails just checking it out, picking up on you. And that's what inspired me to do what I'm doing now. He says, I want to thank you for it.
I've never played with Love LTD, but I remember as a kid going to all the quinceañeras and the weddings, and I would be the kid that was always in the front of the stage looking at Joe Ahumada and his group, Love LTD. So little by little, I started getting more into the Tejano thing here in Tucson, and we finally met. And he'd come to the gigs, and I'd have him get on stage with my group, Myzterio, and he'd go up there and sing some songs with us and stuff. But it all started with Love LTD.
That gives me such a pleasure, you know, that I wasn't doing it on purpose. I was just doing what I know how to do. I was doing my thing. And these guys were actually checking it out, and so they could continue doing it. And it gives me great pleasure. It's an honor for them to say that. And I'm still here.